Everybody. Good afternoon to all the teachers. Welcome back again. Day 3 session, Faculty Development Program, 21st Century Teaching Skills. Let's begin our session with prayer. Now our resource person start with prayer.
Okay, thank you, sister. Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Sister, I am getting a message, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Yes, ma'am. I will assign, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Now proceed, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah, now I got the permission. Thank you so much. So I go here, and here I am. Now I can take care of these things. Just let me put them. They are coming in my way. Okay. Where is my slideshow from the beginning? Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. So nice meeting you. Now, today is the third day or the last day of our series of webinars, and I hope we do it well, including me, because more than you, the responsibility is on me. So let us see. Record meeting, disabled participant annotation. I did that. And where is muting? Share computer sound, record meeting info. Okay, but nobody is making noise now, which is good. When people make noise, it feels like a classroom. So today's topic is storytelling techniques to promote creativity. I know it's not easy to learn creativity, people think, but if you practice, we are all born with lots of creative power. We lose it because we don't practice it. So let us all learn few techniques that we can use it. You know why? Where do I find the button to mute all? Where can I find the button? Can you tell me, sister? Sister Priyanka, where do I find the button to mute all? Okay. If I don't find, never mind, I'll continue going. So webinar 3 outline will be something like that. Whosoever is making the tin noise, please, please, please stop it. I'll be so grateful to you. So outline, it's coming again. So what is a story? We'll look at what is a story. How do we understand a story? Why are stories effective in teaching and learning? Storytelling in the classroom. We cannot sit down there and, tell a 50-page story. So what can we do? Examples using stories for teaching. That's how we'll go. So before we go any further, I want you to keep this at the back of your mind. These 2 points. Number 1, education is transferring knowledge and skills. Knowledge and skills from the teacher to the students, and the students learn what they see, not what teachers ask them to learn. So we'll keep these 2 points in mind. Then only we can proceed further together. What is a story? A story is a communication between the storyteller and the listeners or readers. A story is an account or record of imaginary or real people and events told for educational purposes or for entertainment. A story, why it is called a story? Because it has its own narrative style. The way we tell it is not the same as we talk every day. It's not the same as we read a poem. So story has its own narrative style. Now let's first look, how do we understand a story? Now this is my story. Okay. The child cried, the woman rushed to the shop. Okay, let me see, what do you understand? Remember two sentences. The child cried, the woman rushed to the shop, and answers you will put in the chat box. Why did the child cry? We'll go one by one, all three questions. Why did the child cry? What do you understand? Can I see the chat?
Ma'am, answers from the participants. Hungry.
Okay.
For some toys.
For
hungry. For maybe in some trouble because of crowd, not well, maybe not well.
But there is another sentence. The woman rushed to the shop. That is connected. Why did she rush?
Madam, can I tell?
Yep. Yeah, please go ahead, tell me. I love stories.
In order to go to reluctant to go to school, madam. If we force the child.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. This is not the answer. Ma'am, child wants something from the shop. That is why the child is crying. And there is a woman standing there, and she rushes to the shop and gets something for the child, and then the child is happy. And the third answer is that woman, she is kind.
She's kind. Fantastic, fantastic. See, in 2 sentences, you can answer 3 questions with such detail. But I'm sure there are other people who may have a different answer. So this is the beauty of a story. What you don't have here, you fill it up yourself. Like you said, maybe he wants a toy and wants to buy something, and the mother, that's why she rushed to the shop. Other person said hungry. So maybe she rushed to the shop to buy some food. We don't know. Maybe buy milk, maybe buy water. That's also possible. And let's see this now. This one. Looking at the injured boy on the operation table, the doctor said, please ask another doctor to do this operation. I cannot operate. So what do we understand? Why was the boy injured?
Perhaps he might have fallen down, madam.
Okay, good. That's more possible. So what is the relationship between the boy and the doctor?
Father and son.
Okay, good. Any other option? Any other option? Sister Priyanka, any other answer?
Answers from chat box. Doctor was father, doctor or son, mother or brother, mother or son, maybe brothers.
Yeah, that's
some of them told mother and son. Some of them told doctor was mother. Some of them told friend.
Okay. So what about the third question? Yeah, sorry, sister. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you wanted to say something. Go ahead, please.
Doctors want to some specialist to treat a boy.
Okay.
Okay.
But the trouble is, doctor said, I cannot.
Yes.
So please ask another. I cannot. A doctor is a qualified doctor. So it is not because the doctor is not qualified, nobody will.
Yes, ma'am. Answer from Rabia Hussain. Doctor wants some specialist to treat a boy.
But doctor must have been a specialist looking after injured people. Otherwise, who will let the doctor get inside the operation theater?
Then here we need to make the doctor unkind. That he is reluctant to operate.
Doctor must have been physician, ma'am. He might not have been surgeon.
Okay, okay. So my point is that when a story doesn't tell something, we fill up our imagination. Did we do that? Yes, we did. And this is the beauty of stories. Whatever is written there, fine. Whatever is not there, I'll imagine myself. So the story in your head will be different from the story in my head. I understand it differently. You may understand it differently. There is no
Yes.
right answer. There is no wrong answer. It depends on how we interpret.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the beauty of stories, and that's how we can make use of it. So let us see why are stories effective in teaching and learning? Our mind understands stories easily. Our mind is actually hardwired, designed to understand stories. As you have seen just now, there were just 2 sentences. You connected so much information on your own. There was just 1 sentence. You connected so much information on your own. So our mind is designed to understand the story. It fills up details which are not there. The writer and the reader construct the story together. I wrote 2 sentences, you added information, and it became a story. Something written on the paper is not a story. A story must be communicated. The reader or listener engages with the storyteller in understanding the story. Just now we did it. You engaged in understanding the story. And stories are a powerful medium of communication because stories make us experience information. We experience it as opposed to the just consuming it. Normally, like if you are teaching, let us say, physics or maths, as students, we are consuming information. But stories make us experience the information, and we'll go through and see. They put a human touch to your lesson. That's why it is so nice. The stories captivate us. We don't want to stop listening. Go tell me more. What happened then? The stories help us remember valuable lessons for a lifetime. Is there anyone who does not remember? Listen to my question very carefully. Anyone who does not remember Rabbit and the Tortoise story? Everybody remembers. Everybody remembers. And when did we hear this story? When we were kids. So we remember these stories for a lifetime. So it's a very good medium to pass on valuable information, valuable lessons, because the next generation remembers it for a lifetime. Stories inspire us to act on the lessons learned. For example, in giving up bad habits, you tell them through stories, it's easier for the listener to act on it. Or in doing good to build a harmonious society. That's also important. We have to actively engage in making our societies harmonious, peaceful. Point number 8, some stories entertain us. For example, funny stories and jokes. And we need them to break the monotony of a long lecture or to give a break when you are explaining something very, very complex. You need funny stories or jokes. And especially after lunch, if you are teaching and it's a hot day, it's good to keep a few jokes with you to keep students awake. Number 9, the stories make complex issues of life simple to understand. The monotony of a long lecture. For example, if you look at to give a break, this novel, Gulliver's Travels, when you are explaining something very, very complex, you need very complex stories or jokes. But when we read them, we don't realize we are just carried. And it's a hot day with the narration. It's good to enjoy keep a few jokes. Of course not. And 1984 is a bit scary. But Gulliver's Travels is very, very enjoyable. Number 10, we can get emotionally involved in stories. We feel happy with characters, we cry with them, their struggle becomes our struggles, and when they win, we rejoice. This kind of emotional involvement does 3 things. Number 1, makes us connect with the characters in the story. Number 2, makes us think about our own faults that we hide from everyone. We don't want to go and tell everyone, oh, this is my bad habit. But when we see it in a character, we think about our own faults. For example, a liar will not admit to anyone he or she is a liar. But listening to a story about a liar, they may consider if telling the truth is a better option. And thirdly, it is difficult to remember data or message for a long time, but when it is delivered through a story, we remember it our whole life. Anyone who disagrees with me can put it there in next 5 seconds. If you disagree with me, say I disagree. Otherwise, I move forward. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go. How do you engage audience? Because telling the story, first technique is how do you engage the audience? Why should somebody listen to your story? So, and especially like if you have, oh my God, in here, I had once 43 students in my class. But when you are telling a story, don't tell to the whole crowd. Tell it in such a way, engage it in such a way that everyone feels you are talking to him or her, one-to-one. Story, don't tell important information in the beginning. Keep your leaders or listeners guessing so that they continue to listen to the story, full story. And in your story, as we have seen, the boy cried, mother rushed to the shop. Leave enough room in your story for listener to imagine so that they continue to listen to the end. If they stop imagining, they'll start getting bored. They'll not listen to you. Keep the story simple, yet relatable. You don't need plot twists and character arcs that we have in normal stories. You simply need in the classroom. You need a simple story that resonates with your audience, that is the students, and connect the students' problems with something you have experienced while growing up as a student. This is a very powerful way of when you stand in the classroom and you say, oh yeah, I failed in primary 5. For students, it is like, how could you ever fail? So you can connect with them. And all of us fail. It may not be failing in the exam, but life is never easy. We all have seen bad days, good days, success and failure. Engage your listeners emotionally. When you tell your students about the problems you faced at their age, they will relate to the story and will be willing to accept the solution or advice that you would be presenting through your story so that they can act on it. Stories make listeners lose their intellectual guard. Means when you are telling a story, you're listening to a story, your mind is more than mind, it is your heart which is working. You don't want to think too much about details which will interfere with the story. So you put your intellectual guard loose. But while listening to factual arguments, we examine information very critically, as we did yesterday. We critically examined all the like the tweets and the cartoons. We critically examine them. We don't do the same thing with a story. While telling the stories to younger students, ask them again 3 points: who their favorite character is or are, and why they like them. We talked about this yesterday. To keep students, to teach 21st century skills, it's a good idea to ask open questions. Why do you like them? Ask them to compare hero and villain or any 2 characters, or what they would have done if they were one of the characters in the story. Like, ask somebody, if you were the rabbit in the story, do you think, what would you have done? Somebody will say, oh, I would have slept. Somebody will say, no, I wouldn't have slept. So how will you keep awake? From there, you can continue and direct the learner, the student, to what you want to tell. Storytelling in the classroom. Now we come to the specifics. These are general rules. Let us come to the specifics. The strategy is to engage your audience in the classroom. You can ask a question. Did you hear about it? It was in the news this morning, da, 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 da. And they want to see, oh, what was it? Do you know what happened to? To whom? Make an interesting statement. You won't believe what happened today as I was walking to the school, and everybody wants to know what happened. You can pause, stop speaking. If you are speaking for a long time, just stop speaking, keep silent so that everybody's attention comes to you. Basically, you have to do something to signal a change is coming. Or you can change the tone of your voice. If you had been speaking in a soft, gentle, friendly voice, make the tone matter. So now I am going to talk about things which are really important in life. You don't have to be harsh, but change the tone of your voice. Or you can use hand gestures. All these work. Make eye contact to let the student know you are monitoring what he or she is doing, not taking notes, not paying. If they are doing something like that, not listening, make an eye contact. And I'm sure mothers are very good at that. Make an eye contact so that they get the message you are monitoring, and then you start. Let your body posture grab attention. Stand, actively. Not like this. You see this? These are from the news. I got these photos. Look, the teacher. Look, the teacher. Look, the teacher. They are sleeping in the classroom. But you look at the students, and this is my hope. The students are not sleeping. They have not run away. They are sitting there for the teacher to wake up and teach. These are our students. So in the classroom, when you stand, don't slouch. Not like this, No. Keep yourself active. Whenever students start looking bored or exhausted, tell a little story or a joke. What is a joke? A joke is a short story, some sort of flow. And to tell joke is also not easy. Keep a collection of jokes for all occasions. Privately practice telling a joke before you tell it to your students. And when you tell a joke, be sensitive to students' culture while choosing a joke. Like sometimes it is, honestly, you won't believe, people come and tell jokes to women. I have experienced it, where in the joke, the man is trying to say the women are stupid. And you are telling me the joke and you want me to laugh? No, I can't laugh. So be sensitive to students' culture while choosing a joke. Don't cut jokes to embarrass or humiliate anyone. And do not laugh at your own jokes. You will be embarrassed if somebody doesn't laugh. Nobody finds it funny. So don't laugh at your own jokes. Now, third point that I want to talk about is about telling stories in the classroom. Is while teaching, you cannot go too far away from your objective of teaching. Let me find who's so busy talking. Can I find out who's talking? Yeah, okay. Can I mute who's talking? I cannot find out.
It's Mohammed Yusuf who is talking and Suganta Esther. So kindly mute both of them, madam.
Unable to find. Ask to mute. Okay. Sugandha I have done. And where is Mohammed?
Mohammed Yusuf.
Yes. Okay. I couldn't find, but he has stopped. Thank God. So, while teaching, you cannot digress far away from your objective, whatever your objective is. So, it's not necessary for your story to have all the elements of a story. Like it should have a plot, it should have a character, it should have a climax. We don't need all that. In the classroom, we need very, very simple stories. Keep your stories very short and very simple. Choose a story that can influence your students. Choose a story with simple plot line. Don't get into, a thriller. Because if you are telling a complicated, who killed whom story, you will go too far away from your teaching objective. Then it will be difficult to bring the whole class back to the objective. So keep your plot line very, very simple. Tell a story that the students can relate to, even if it is the story with animal characters, doesn't matter. It should be relatable. Keep your characters simple. Instead of giving a long lecture on moral values, whenever you can, tell a story to build a student's character. This is the best thing. Most of the time teachers think, oh, I'll tell them, you must tell the truth. You must help the weak. But listening is not going to help. If you talk about a story or if they see you helping somebody, that is more powerful. Talk about problems you faced as a student and how you solve them. Let your students know you were not this teacher person full of confidence all your life. If you have changed and become better, they too can become better. Excuse me. Engage your listener emotionally so that they are ready to act and change their behavior or accept your advice. Don't go too much into detail, which we have talked about just now. Let them engage in the story, fill up their own details. Don't tell important information, which we have talked about. And if possible, and with a statement that can be repeated, there is no ED, that can be repeated in the classroom later so as to reinforce the moral lesson. For example, if you just simply say, oh, don't be a rabbit. Now the student knows the rabbit was sleeping, so I should not sleep. Or I should pay attention. Or you can say, oh, wake up, rabbit. Instead of saying, don't waste time, don't be lazy, don't be irresponsible, just don't be a rabbit. Something like this, which you can repeat whenever you need. Any question? If there is any question, I'll take it. Otherwise, we'll move forward.
No, ma'am.
No?
Yes, ma'am. There is no questions, ma'am.
No question. Oh my God, why people are not asking me? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into this. I told you this was a question which came on day one. When I put this slide, and I said, write a play. That was question number 10. Write a play for primary school children using food relationships in diagram 1 or 2. Duration should be 8 to 10 minutes. Can a teacher give this task to KG children? This was my question. And many said yes, but there was one participant who said no, because KG children don't need to write, you know. So my point here is we have to interpret this word creatively. Write means, yes, write. KG children cannot write. But if we say the KG teacher, what can she do? We allot roles of different living things here, or maybe the plant also, in the diagram to her students. Then she can encourage them to act out their roles as predators and prey. Because in that, the snake will eat mouse, and the snake will be eaten by the bird will be eaten by the tiger or lion, whatever it is. Ask them to act out their roles. Then the students, he or she can, the teacher, not the student, the teacher, he or she can be the scribe. Scribe is one who writes. So she sits down and she writes whatever the students say. Because the students don't know how to write. And then, you know, like it will take 1 or 2 days. It will not be over in 40 minutes. You can rehearse the play few times, call parents and ask the students to perform their play. And there's so much creativity involved in something so simple. And the students will learn so many skills. The speaking, acting, you know, taking cue. And parents will be happy too. Now, stories to design learning tasks. Stories help us design learning tasks. In this story, the story of teacher A and teacher B. Now, instead of giving a long list of, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. What we can do is we can create a story. So teacher A comes in the class, she does this one, da, 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 da. Teacher B comes to the class, she does da, 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 da. Now, the beauty of creating a story like this is message is delivered even before you finish the story. Everybody knows who's doing the correct thing, teacher A or teacher B, who's better at teaching skills. The question at the end of the story, this one, makes it an experience of discovery for participants. Has teacher B added value, like lots of skills and new information in the task? So when you answer yes or no, you mostly it will be yes, I know that, because I have used this story before. When you say yes, you are discovering it, experiencing it. And if I tell you, you can do this, and tomorrow you can use these techniques, no, you will not use it. We are all human. We cannot do that. So the question makes it an experience of discovery for participants or listeners. This one. Some of you may remember this slide. Explaining a complex or abstract idea. Now this girl, she got a kurta, having two color, this thing, shirt, green and yellow. So the stories make a complex explanation simple. How does it make it simple? Trying to teach something like creative thinking. We talked about yesterday, problem solving, reasoning, evaluating. This is all abstract. But when you put whole thing here, imagine you are the girl in the yellow green. Now, when we are imagining, I can imagine to be a king. I can imagine to be Muhammad Ali. I can imagine to be, there is nothing that boys must imagine boys or girls must imagine girls. Imagine you are the girl in yellow green kurta. You are in the market to buy a hijab like this to match with your kurta. This is what you are thinking. This is going on in her mind. Yeah. She's thinking, which one should I buy? She said, this kurta has two colors. Which hijab would go better with it? Green or yellow? And then she makes an observation. What she is doing is she's making an observation. I like green, but green doesn't suit me. Yellow suits me better. Now she's analyzing, evaluating. I think I'll buy yellow. She made a decision. She's going through this cycle. Then she looks, there are two, number 4 and number 3. So she said, number 3 is too bright. Shouldn't I buy number 4? Now she's again analyzing, evaluating this. Then she thinks, oh, but I have a hijab of almost this color and shade. Should I spend 600 rupees for this? Now she is doing reasoning, says it is disabled.
Ma'am, we can hear you. You please start.
Yeah,
All of us can hear you.
The trouble is it is not letting me share the screen. I'm not able to share the screen.
Wait, ma'am. Most of the participants waiting in the waiting room, ma'am. So I will admit.
But
Yes,
I don't know, something you have to do, because it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Kindly wait for a few minutes because we have to admit the participants who are waiting in the queue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Life is like that. It happens.
Yes,
it takes
ma'am.
many years of experience. So this is my way of giving to the next generation my experience. Thank you so much.
Allah will reward you for this. Inshallah.
You too, sister. You too. Allah will reward all.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ameen.
Ma'am, looking forward for the brainstorming sessions too, please.
Actually, you want brainstorming, you know, what we can do is, I have a whole workshop on mind map. Because brainstorming is very small part of the mind map. So we can talk about how we can use mind maps for so many other things, organizing information, and like brainstorming is one part, assigning roles. So there's a lot we can do with it.
You for some help? Is that possible?
You can go. I'll give you, let me put in the chat my email address.
Yeah, either email address or any social media links, LinkedIn or somewhere.
Actually, you know why I don't put so much on social media? I have a reason. Because if you put it on social media, who comes to you? The rich people who can afford everything,
True, true, very true.
and or from big cities. My idea is to reach people who need it. So this is why Zoom has become free now. Everybody is doing webinars. But for this college, I have done in October, November. I think we finished in January only sometime. So I had been doing it for people who are living far away.
Okay, ma'am, please share your email ID too.
gmail.com. Where are you, sister? You are speaking from where?
I'm from India, Chennai.
Chennai. Oh, I love Chennai. My father is buried there. My mother was born there.
Great.
Once you have understood this graph is so easy. So, stories make a complex explanation simple. I created a story. A girl is going to buy a scarf. Now, imagine, which we use here. It's a very powerful word. When you tell your student, imagine, you actually put them right in the middle of the story. And from there, the student starts experiencing the story. So critical thinking, in this case, saved this girl from wasting her money. She said, okay, no, next time when I'll come, I'll buy. She did not buy. Maybe she buys something. So yesterday, we were talking about mother with two children, a boy and a girl. And I said, both need kidney transplant. Whom should she give her kidney? So some people said boy, some people said girl. The whole thing is we did not have enough information to make the decision. You just cannot make a decision on the basis of a photograph. So all this has to be done to be seen what is the best option. Any question? Because critical thinking is difficult. I know it's not so difficult to learn. As I said yesterday, it's difficult to teach, but not so difficult to learn if we give our students practice in it. Any question here? Sister Priyanka, before it ends, tell me if 10 minutes are left. Before it ends, just let me know if 10 minutes are left. When?
Okay.
How many minutes are left now?
20 minutes now.
Oh, fantastic. We'll finish that much before, because I would love to take questions.
Okay. Participants,
Any question? No question? Many
you
questions?
can ask your questions. Participants, you can ask your questions.
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum assalam rahmatullahi barakatuh.
This is Aziz Tahira Begum from Dubai, KSA.
Oh, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, very interactive session, very useful session for us. Can you please share your PPT in the group, ma'am?
Let me see how we
Okay.
can do that. I'll talk to Dr. Nadira Kamal. Okay, so you don't have a question about critical thinking. Now I want to take a question about critical thinking. When we finish, then we'll talk about these things.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yep. I would still suggest, instead of speaking,
Participants, others can unmute your video.
no, everybody should mute. You put in the chat box. That's the easiest thing.
Okay.
So nobody bothers anyone. But I want questions about critical thinking. Other things we can discuss later once I have finished. You remember I told you we should not go too far away from the objective.
One question from Reshma Banu. Can critical thinking has any relation with IQ level of students?
IQ involves so many other things. IQ involves, how you, for example, I give you, if there is a question in the IQ test, which color, which is not a color? red, blue, white. Now what happens is, for us people in India and even Chinese people, we consider white a color. But Europeans don't consider white a color. They say white and black are not color. Others are color. So much cultural things come into. And the language, again, IQ tests are not very popular these days because you should know the reading also. If you don't know, how will you understand the question?
Loganayaki, mute your video and audio. This is Loganayaki. Kindly mute your audio.
Okay, so no question about.
Ma'am, next question from Shuhail Ahmed. The problem creative the decision on base critical thinking.
Problem
creative the decision on base critical thinking.
Problem creating or problem solving?
Problem creative the decision on base critical thinking.
But I don't understand what's the meaning of problem creative.
Suhail, can you ask?
If you can explain, yeah.
Suhail Ahmed, sir. Can you retype your question?
I'm sure the word. He's trying to ask something which must be quite simple. Yep.
Yes, sir. Can you ask? Sir?
Okay, we'll take it at the end. Let us finish this. Critical thinking. If we give too long a gap, people will forget. So writing a story, if you know how to write a story, if you are a creative writer, the teacher I mean, you can write a story that includes all the teaching points you want to include in your lesson. You want your students to know. For example, this story is very simple. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes. Read this story and then we'll talk about it. It's on the screen. A very good school. And then you must answer this question. How good is my son's school? Read this story and decide if the school is good. Just read it. Thank you. Please. Yep.
One question from Nigat Barvish. Ma'am, some students hesitate to participate though they know the answer. Some students hesitate to participate though they know the answer.
We'll talk about it at the end. Just keep it. Let them finish reading the story.
Okay.
We'll take, because there will be many other related questions will come. And sharing is better, so most of us can face this problem. It's a common problem. Finished reading the story? If you have finished, just type finished. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how good is my son's school? Is it good, very good, bad, very bad? Okay. Good, very good, bad, very bad, okay. I want 5 answers. Any answers coming, sister?
Participants told very good, ma'am. Most of the answers related to very good.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Now I'll read the story again. And
Yes,
let
ma'am.
us see what it is.
Okay.
A very good school. When my son was in class 2, he was in a school where most children didn't speak English, and he was often left alone in the playground. So I took him out of that school and put him in an expensive British school where everybody spoke English. So the problem is what? My son had nobody to speak to because he speaks English, which is true about my son. The only language he speaks is English. So he had nobody to talk to. So I found another school. But remember also, it's an expensive school. First day, when he came back from school, I was excited to know what he thought of his new school. This was our conversation. What happens now? Me, I asked him, how's the new school? He, very good. What did you learn? Nothing. We'll learn tomorrow. Note his answer. He said he learned nothing. He'll learn tomorrow. So I say, me, why? Our class teacher, Miss Brown, didn't come today. Why? I don't know. Maybe she's sick. Maybe she's lazy. So, you had no teacher in the class? Miss Campbell came to our class, but she didn't know what Miss Brown was teaching. So she said we can do whatever we liked. Now there is no teacher in the class. It's an expensive school. Then what did you do? I sat quietly, but Pinky climbed up the desk and started jumping because teacher said you can do whatever you like. So me, why? She liked jumping, so she started jumping up and down the desk. She fell and got hurt and cried so loud. The principal came and called the ambulance, and the doctor said Pinky broke her leg. Me, but during lunch you must have had some fun in the playground. That is the problem that started. He was alone in the playground in the old school. Had some fun in the playground. He, no, we weren't allowed to play. The principal said she won't let anyone else get hurt. Me, so you stayed in the class but didn't learn anything today? And you had no play either? He, doesn't matter, Ma. It's a good school. Principal takes good care of students. Is the principal taking real good care of students, not letting them play, no teacher in the class, allowing them to do whatever they want, so they jump up and down the desk? Do you still consider it a good school? Or have you revised your opinion about the school?
Assalamu alaikum.
It was, right from the start, ma'am. It wasn't a good school. The time could have been better occupied. At least the teacher could have told them a story or something.
Yeah. No, my point is actually, I'm not looking for alternative what teacher would have done. My point is that when you read the first reading, some people said it's a good school. My point is that when you analyze that, go step by step, you realize it's not a good school.
Yes, ma'am.
Previous school,
Yeah.
Previous school was much better, ma'am, because he could say, because of English he changed, but the way the child is answering, it's really good.
What I'm trying to show here is, this is a story. I wrote it, okay? And actually I wrote it for this college only when we were doing critical thinking, critical reading. When you have critical thinking, you can immediately spot it's a bad school. And how to show somebody it's a bad school. So I created the story. So it goes, and finally you realize, oh, it's such a bad school and it is expensive. This is what you can do if you are creative and you are a teacher. The storytellers can write their own text when they need. When you need it, you write. Writing tailor-made text for cross-curricular teaching. Now see, this again, I did it for a webinar I was doing for someone in Madurai. It's the story of a leaf. I am a leaf, a green leaf. Let me tell you with all humility that if I'm not there, dear reader, your existence will come to an end. I cook food for the trees and plants, which unfortunately you human beings steal. Do you remember here we had talked about the producers? So it relates with that. Green leaves are producers. And I have used leaf blade or lamina. These are the scientific words that the student need to know. But I created a story. Petiole is like a pipe, the big pipes that supply water to your home. Through it, I get water, leaf is saying, from the roots for cooking and also send food to the roots. Now, lamina is the main kitchen. So I have turned everything about photosynthesis into a story. Now, the beauty is that you can use this story to teach English or teach photosynthesis science. So teachers need to learn to cooperate with each other to create this kind of text which can be used in one or two lessons, one or two different subjects. And for that, you need creativity. We talked about yesterday about this cartoon, the storytelling and empathy. Empathy is not sympathy, it's more than that. Empathy is when you feel for everyone. Now, this we talked about lack of critical thinking makes people bigots, racist, Islamophobic. So what can we do? If you start teaching them critical thinking and you ask them to become kind, that's not going to happen because critical thinking is about mind. Being kind is about heart. Stories help us empathize with people. You want to teach empathy? Teach them stories which teach empathy. While writing the story, the writers or teachers imagine and experience what their characters must experience. Now, while reading or listening to the story, the students identify with the characters and experience what that character must be experiencing in the story. So by writing a story, we improve, we learn to empathize. By listening to or reading a story, the listener, student, reader also learns to empathize. So if we want our students not to become bigots, we must tell them stories. Empathy helps us understand what things other may find humiliating or insulting. So one has to learn because every culture is not same. Every person is not same. So we have to find out what this man doesn't like, what this woman doesn't like, what is not acceptable in this culture. We learn about. Telling personal stories. This is the last story I'll tell you. Personal stories is a great way of uplifting the morale of students. And as I told you in the beginning itself, it's a great way of giving advice. What happened when you were at their age and you were not successful, so what did you do? But here, the friendly advice is, when you tell personal story, do not present yourself as a hero. Show your weakness instead. If necessary, you can also tell how you overcame your weakness so that the students can benefit from your experience. Now, this example, both examples are real life examples. When I was doing MA, in my college, there were only 3 girls. So the college asked us to participate in sports. And since we were all 3, in every competition, I could come first, second, or third, first, second, or third. But that was not a win. It didn't feel good. I threw away all those certificates. You know? So, okay. And second story, I'll tell you, don't make yourself a hero. I could come first, second, or third only because there was no other participant. We were just 3 girls. My aeronautical engineer brother, who works for a big airline, he knew how to reduce friction even before he started schooling. What did he do? When he was a kid, he'll take this powder and spread it on the floor, and he'll hide behind the curtain and watch. So all of us, the helpers in the house, they'll come hurriedly and they'll all slip and fall. What he was doing was, he was reducing friction between the floor and the shoes. So using lubricants like this, my brother knew it before he started going to school. And when I tell my students, they all remember my brother. Everybody knows my brother. Everybody knows my dog. These are very powerful stories, personal stories. A good storyteller, teacher communicates effectively, is able to teach 21st century skills by practicing them. Teaches ethics and values. Otherwise, how do you teach all these things without creativity? We need to teach our students how to respect for others, including respect for girls and women. And they must become better people. They must learn ethical values, because ethical values make us human. Otherwise, we are one among the mammals, which are called Homo sapiens. We are animals if we don't have human qualities and values. So, this we have talked about. So we are teachers and we are trying to change the world, make it a better place. But we must remember that we can change only one person in this world, and that is us. Only when we change ourselves and start teaching using 21st century teaching skills, we will be able to teach 21st century skills to our students. We have to become experts first. It is not possible to teach 21st century skills through teaching in 20th century skills. So this is my quote with which I want to leave you. Yesterday I was clever. It's from Maulana Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. Okay? 21st century teaching skills require a new mindset. So please, this is my request to everyone. If you want to take something from this webinar, think about how we can change our mindset to be of better use to our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, we have only 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now, I call upon our participants. Kindly mute your audio. Now, I call upon Mrs. Rosina Barwin, Department of Information Technology, for thank you our resource person.
Good afternoon to all. On behalf of our management, principal, and faculty members, I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me first thank Almighty for making 3-day faculty development program a resounding success. I like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the management and our principal for arranging such a wonderful platform. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank our beloved HOD, Mrs. B. Priyanka, her moral support and guidance. Thank you, ma'am. My heartfelt gratitude to the resource person, Adiya Bansal, for her valuable and informative section. We have learned a lot through this FTP and have grown as an educator. You are actually a very good mentor for all of us, as you show a great deal of passion for education. We will definitely use these in our future classroom to our student knowledge enhancement. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to make our time very useful, ma'am. Also, I want to express my gratitude to all the participants for spending their valuable time for 3-day faculty development program. Thank you to all.
Thank you, ma'am. We have identified this efficient resource person for this 3-day FTP because she has conducted teaching skills for all our college staff for 3 months in July to September, and she has improved our way of teaching and learning. She is very kind of helpful and approachable. So if you want to her, you can approach her. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the participants and our resource person.
Thank you so much. You have yourself, sister. It's your greatness to give the credit to me. I don't deserve it. Thank you so much. Inshallah, we'll meet again some other day. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Ma'am, make me host. Ma'am, kindly make me as a host.
What do I do now? Where am I? Where do I click?
And click our name, MSSCASWIT.
Where can I find? Okay, I go to participants.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on the top?
MSSCASW.
Ayana. How, where are you? Sister, I'm not finding your name. IT, is it IT? Yes, sister.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have clicked on this. Now what do? I don't see make post. Okay, more. Stop make host. Yeah, did that, sister.
Yes, ma'am.
Did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Participant, we post our feedback link in the group chat. Kindly fill the feedback form. Submit your assignments within 2 days. After the assignments, I have concluded all the participant attendance and feedback forms, assignments. Then only we will produce your certificates. Participants, we will consider your attendance and assignments. Then only we will produce our certificates.
முடியவே முடியாது